Nothing is more important, Joe, than white supremacists and climate change. Nothing.
How much election fraud do you think is real?
Here we go, Joe. You want to go to election fraud?
Yeah, because I don't think it's zero.
No,
It's
no
not
way.
zero. I think we could all agree it's not zero.
No way it's not zero.
And we know that these voting machines can be fucked with.
Yeah.
And we know
Yeah.
that there's some irregularities, all that Kerry Lake stuff in Arizona
Yeah.
that they're trying to dismiss. It doesn't look like that's invalid. It looks like there's real fraud there. It looks like there's some real shenanigans there. At the very least, there was voting machines that weren't working properly, and it seems very suspicious that a lot of them were in Republican areas. There's a lot of shenanigans. And I think there's coordinated efforts to make sure that certain people get elected. I don't know how far they go, but I know it's not zero.
And, okay, so election fraud. It's happened for a long time. It was a lot easier back in the days than it is today. A lot easier back in the days than it is today. You can always go back to the Dewey thing, Chicago, John F. Kennedy. They thought they needed it, so they got 7,000 dead people to vote. All this, and then later on, they never needed it in the first place.
Dangly Chad.
That's right, all of that. So, but then today, so this is where my skepticism comes in. This is where I get paranoid. As a Middle Eastern, we're naturally paranoid by nature. We don't trust a lot of things, but this is the skepticism. So TSA, November of 2001, Bush introduces us to TSA. Prior to November 2001, there was no TSA. You walk to the gate. Family could come and see you at the gate and wait for you. No, moving forward is TSA. Today, if you go through TSA, all you do is give the ID, boom, you don't even show the ticket, go in, right? Okay. So why is it racist to do that when you're voting?
Right.
See, that a logical person, I can see a Democrat defending that, knowing it's an edge for the other side, strategically. I get it, if you understand what I'm saying. I can see you saying that, no, I don't think that's fair for us to do. Hey, guys, let's pull the racist card. This is going to be big for these guys. Totally get it. But to the independent or the reasonable Democrat that's sitting there saying, some of the stuff you guys are doing, I'm not part of this camp. I'm a JFK Democrat, let's just say.
Right.
Those guys are sitting there saying, I'm sorry, what? You just took my ID at TSA. I'm going on a flight to New York. You don't want to take my ID for voting? You don't want to do that?
Right.
You can check my eyes when I'm going to work to sign in to work, and you go in there and go like this. Okay, great. He signed in at 8:58. Great. You don't want to do that for voting? You can't do some of that stuff?
Well, it's also at the same time they were doing with COVID vaccines. You had to have a vaccine card.
Yeah.
At the same time, you had to have an ID and a vaccine card to be able to work, to be able to travel, to be able to go anywhere. So they had implemented new rules at the same time they were trying to take away ID for voting. Taking away ID for voting makes zero sense. First of all, the idea that it's racist, are you saying that some races are bad at getting IDs? Like, what are you saying? Like, what, should just make it easier for them to get IDs than make it so that no one needs an ID?
That's a good point.
That makes no sense. Yeah. And also at the same time, you'd have to be suspicious that they're allowing a massive amount of illegal immigrants into this country constantly, daily, and you're supposing that those people are going to vote on your side if they don't need IDs to vote. I mean, that's the suspicion, right?
Yeah, you get a couple million here. And then in 2024, like if you think about issues to run on, right? You go, Trump ran on 2016 on what? Build a wall. All these, they're sending their worst, they're rapists, they're raping our women. Okay, and then he went after a couple different people. Obama ran on, freedom or forward or whatever, the dream. Okay, ran on human rights. Everybody runs on something. If they run on dreamers, let's legalize the dreamers that are here. Again, you got to give the Dems credit. Leave the border open. Let them come in. 2024, we convert these guys to voters. We just got 2 million new voters.
Right.
Say 90% vote our side. Say 80% vote our sides. I think the Hispanic vote is 64% Democratic right now. 36, either independent or, Republican. African American is still between 88 to 94%. 88 to 94% votes Democratic. Okay. So if they can convert that, that's another edge for them. They're sitting there paranoid. They're like, why would you have a problem with this? The level of hypocrisy hurts them. So the climate change argument, for example, well, we have to be worried about the future of our kids. What about this? Nothing is more important, Joe, than white supremacists end climate change. Nothing. And like, really? Remember? Yeah. Climate change is dangerous. You see what's going to happen. You saw Greta Thunberg. I don't know if you saw that video.
Well, she said we have to protect the banks.
Did you see her doing the fake? Like, she's like, how dare you?
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, she's just doing this thing.
Well, she's a kid.
Yeah. But again, she a lot of people, though. Man, girl's got 6 million followers on Twitter.
Is that fooling people? Not really.
She's an idiot, though. I mean,
yeah, well, she's a young lady with idealistic ideas, and she's being used. She's a it doesn't make any sense that she's somehow a spokesperson for climate change. It's bizarre. It's an influencer. It's the same reason why Dylan Mulvaney interviewed Biden when he had been a woman for 320 days or whatever the fuck it was.
What a sweetheart.
Yeah. That's the same thing. It's like you're using influencers.
Yeah.